Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Maggie Holmes Monday. This will be the last month that Crystal and I are doing Maggie Holmes Monday. We're just going to set it aside for a little bit, and I will probably come back to it at some point because I have so much love and still so much Maggie Holmes stash. I want to start today by creating my own background for my project today. So I'm using this stamp. This is from Brutus Monroe. It is called Botanical Background. And as of December 9th, 2024, it is still available over in the Brutus Monroe shop, and I will link it in the description box below, along with the other things that I'm going to use to create my own background today. So I did some Maggie Holmes stash diving for today's project instead of sticking with Forever Fields, which is what I have been doing for the last 2 months. Still love that collection. Still have a lot of it left, but decided to go ahead and go into my stash and specifically into my pattern paper scraps for today's layout. I am inking up this stamp set with gold pigment ink from Catherine Pooler. I do really like her new pigment inks. This is a large stamp, so it's a full background. It's a 4x6. I pulled out the ginormous Misty, and I'm stamping it right on my hot press watercolor paper because that's my favorite mixed media paper, and we're going to add a couple of like splattery watercolor things on top of it. So someone in the comments right now, please remind me to order a new Stampin' Bug. Oh my gosh. Mine, I damaged mine and I need a new one so bad. And can I remember to buy one? No. The whole time I'm doing this stamping, I'm going, I need my Stampin' Bug. And then I finished the layout. I moved on with life. I come back to this video. I'm voicing it over. And I'm like, look at me struggling. And I know what the problem is. The problem is I need to order a new Stampin' Bug. So I know now, while I'm recording this voiceover, that I will at least get one person that will be like, don't forget to order a Stampin' Bug. And you guys are going to help me to make sure I order a Stampin' Bug. Oh my gosh. So I stamped this with the Catherine Pooler pigment ink twice, once down in the corner, once up at the top. And then I'm going to clean my stamp really good. I use all my Brutus Monroe cleaning supplies. So it's a squeaky clean stamping cleaner. My favorite is the peach, and then a microfiber cloth to clean my stamps. Next, I'm going to do some splatters. So I have my Brutus Monroe Shimmer Mist, and then I'm also going to use some aqua pigment in Gilded. I'm going to add splatters all the way around, and pretty much I end up just enjoying myself and splattering all over this layout just to add some sparkle and some shine. And look how gorgeous that floral stamp is. I love this stamp. It is just, it has that like vintage, old world, I don't know, that vintage flowery look that I adore. And it's nice and big, so it works so well to like layer on top of, which is what we're going to do here, and create a scrapbook page with it. Like, so we're going to use these as like the bases for like more clusters and colors, and it's such a good scrapbooking stamp. I know a lot of people, I get messages a lot from people, and they're like, what stamps should I buy if I want to stamp on my scrapbook pages? Well, this is one that I would buy to stamp on scrapbook pages because it's just perfect for that application. And it's also like the easiest way to make a card. So there is the stamping. Look how gorgeous that looks when everything dries. And now we're going to layer up on our stamped background. Like I said, I'm using scraps, lots of scraps. I pulled together some die cuts, but there is not one sheet. There is not one full sheet of paper on this layout at all. This is another maternity page for my dear friend. I am going to finish up these maternity photos for her this month with my Maggie Holmes Monday layouts, and probably with another layout or two here or there as well, because the sweet baby's almost 6 months old. So I want to finish these up and get them to her for her to put into her scrapbook. I grabbed some cardstock. I chose 3 different scrap pieces of cardstock from my cardstock box and some very neutral colors because I want to, I have a very idea. I know what I want to do with this layout. And it starts with kind of matting these larger chunks of pattern paper and then kind of cutting them down almost so that they're like strips. I'm going to have them kind of come up from the bottom of the page and have them behind my photograph. So each of the pattern paper is getting matted on these cardstocks because I want some separation. I want to be able, I don't want this to look muddy. I don't want those patterns like right against each other. I want to have that little bit of a neutral color to kind of separate each of the different patterns. So this is my basic scrapbook design idea. I'm going to go ahead and mat the 2 photos on this cardstock. I have no clue where this cardstock is from. It's literally was just in my little cardstock scrap pile. It's like maybe like gold foil, gold glimmer craft kind of cardstock, but it like just matches the tones of the big floral stamp with the Catherine Polar ink. Really, really good. So I knew I had to use it. So it's matting my photos, and then it's also behind, I think, 1 or maybe 2 of the pattern papers. So I kind of did a mock-up to get an idea of where I want these papers to sit, where I want them to end up on the page. Look at that gold. If you just look in the upper left-hand corner, you'll really get an idea of how like gold and shimmery that ink is. And then when you add all those extra, the white shimmer, the pearl shimmer splatters and the gold shimmer splatters, looks so gorgeous. And we're going to use these 2 photos. So you can kind of get an idea of what we're going for here. I want all these strips of paper to kind of pop up behind and kind of almost like a second mat for the photos, but a little bit chunkier than that. And I have them all kind of coming up from the bottom. And there's where I messed up one of the stamped images because, you know, I need a Stampin' Bug. Or I should say, I need a new Stampin' Bug. I pushed my layout like up to the top of my page, which I did not mean to do. I'm sorry. But I am placing these die cut pieces. I cut the huge big flower in half, the honkin' big die cut flower in half, because that's how I deal with honkin' big die cuts in the die cut packs. I cut them. And I am clustering the florals and then some of these tickets and some of these little ephemera bits up at the top on top of that stamped area. And you'll see it here. Hopefully I pulled the page down at some point and realized that I was out of camera frame. Maybe. I'm cheering myself on that I did. I also added those 2 little blocks. So the one in the upper left-hand side is just like a little subtitle. And then the one in the lower right-hand side is a little place for Mama to add journaling if she wants to. And there you can see how I added those floral pieces. Because I do have the pigment ink stamping and all the splatters, I am adding everything down with my wet glue so that everything will stick and nothing will fall off. Plus, I'm not a fan of the current tape runner I'm using. I'm hoping that it runs out soon, believe it or not. I'm trying to go through some older adhesive in my stash to kind of get rid of it. And hopefully that will hold. I find myself adding tape runner now, though, and then adding wet glue on top of it. I don't know. I don't know if that's actually using my tape runner up, but it makes me feel like I am, so we're going to go with it. I stuck a couple stickers to my glass board mat that I felt would work really nice as little accent pieces, and I'm adding them on now, including there's that one at the top, that banner at the top. I added that with some foam tape from the little easy strips, or not, it's not easy strips, it's easy squares from Brutus Monroe. And yeah, so now I'm just going through what I like to refer to as my bits and pieces bowls. So I have these little glass bowls on my table, and they just have odds and ends, little pieces that are still really good and I want to use. So if I can grab some of them and use them and add them to a layout, I do. I also have those little triangle pieces. I have lots and lots. I am one of those people that if things aren't in my line of sight, I'm not going to use it. So things I really want to get used, I put them in those little triangle dishes, and I put them in those little glass dishes right on my desk, and then they're right there. And I know to go through them quick and see if there's anything in there I can use when I'm scrapbooking. It's going to work out really, really well today because I do have these gold sequins or images. These are from a die cut pack from Brutus Monroe, the Smile Cutting Die. I use it all the time. And I have some kind of leftover sequin die cuts in gold mirror cardstock. So I'm going to pull those out and use those as the last little detail on my scrapbook page. And yeah, I used a bunch of them. I scattered them around all three of the different little areas of embellishment on my layout. And then I'll pop all the ones I don't use back into the triangle tray and back on my desk. And this is where we're going to call this layout all done. Such a good stash diving layout today. Thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to head down to the description box and check out Crystal's layout. As well as I will leave links to any available products I use. I will definitely leave links to the stamp because I have it right here pulled up on my iPad already. And remind me to buy a Stampin' Bug. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful day. Bye.